Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, let's talk about Hytale. If you've been on the internet for a while, you've probably heard the name before. Maybe years ago, maybe back when everyone was calling it the Minecraft killer, and then it disappeared, and then it came back, and then it was canceled, and now somehow it's actually here in early access after nearly 10 years in development. The only trailer for Hytale was released in 2019, nearly 7 years ago, and got over 60 million views. And there's definitely some confusion now around the game. Like, what is this game supposed to be? Is it Minecraft with better graphics? Is it an RPG? Is there lore? Is there a story? And is it even worth buying right now after just releasing into early access last week? So instead of just rushing through features, I want to slow down and actually talk about the world of Hytale, the background, the vibe, and the kind of story it's clearly setting up. And then we'll get into what's actually playable right now and whether it's worth the price. This is not going to be a hype video, it's more like a let's sit down and figure out what this game is trying to do. So, on paper, Hytale is a sandbox game. Blocks, crafting, building, and all the basic stuff is here. But that's not really what it feels like when you play it. It doesn't feel like a run-of-the-mill sandbox game. The game is clearly being developed with the community in mind. The game already has dedicated server support, powerful modding tools, and is planning on adding additional social features, mini-games, and other cool community additions that have been really popular in other sandbox games like it. I'm going to be ignoring all of these additional features and be primarily focusing on the exploration mode in this video, which is the basic Hytale experience. So, when you first launch the exploration mode in Hytale, you are dropped into a world and have the freedom to do whatever you want. The main world of Hytale is called Orbis, and it's split into these massive regions called zones. I expect the world of Hytale to continue to grow as it gets more updates throughout its time in early access. Oh, and before we go any further, do yourself a favor and open up the settings menu and toggle on Show Entity Health Bars. That way, you can actually know how much health enemies have left. You'll thank me later. Now, back to the zones. Zone 1 is the Emerald Grove. Emerald Grove is the starting zone for most players and represents the earth element. It's a lush, vibrant zone filled with forests, grasslands, hills, rivers, and swamps. This zone is designed to be beginner-friendly, rich in natural resources, and a place where players can learn the game mechanics. In this zone, you will encounter early game enemies, simple ruins, and settlements that help introduce combat, crafting, and exploration. While it's the safest zone, it's still packed with secrets and hidden dangers, making it feel alive rather than a tutorial area. The Emerald Grove sets the tone for Hytale's sense of discovery. Zone 2 in Hytale is the Howling Sands. The Howling Sands is a massive desert region tied to the wind element. Compared to Zone 1, this area is far more hostile and survival focused. In this zone, you can expect vast deserts with little water, ancient ruins buried in sand, harsh weather and open landscapes, tougher enemies, and stronger factions. Traversal becomes more challenging here, and players are encouraged to prepare properly before venturing too far. It's really easy to get poisoned here and realize you are way underleveled and need to get some better gear. The ruins and structures in the Howling Sands hint at ancient civilizations, giving the zone a mysterious, almost lost world feel. This zone marks the point where Hytale starts demanding more from the player. Zone 3 is called the Borea. Borea is a frozen land of snow, ice, and towering mountains, representing the water element. The environment is cold, dangerous, and visually striking. Some of the key features of this zone are snowy plains and taiga forests, frozen lakes and glaciers, extreme terrain and vertical exploration, and enemies adapted to cold environments. Survival mechanics become more important here, as the environment itself can be just as threatening as hostile mobs. Borea feels like a true mid-game zone, testing both players' skill and preparation. Visually, it's one of the most dramatic zones, emphasizing how varied Hytale's world can be. I really love how the caves in this zone feel like actual ice caves in an ice biome. Zone 4 in Hytale is the Devastated Lands. The Devastated Lands is the most dangerous zone in Hytale at this point. This region is associated with the fire element. The zone is filled with volcanic terrain, lava flows, ash-covered landscapes, and dangerous enemies. What makes this zone unique is its contrast. The surface is harsh and apocalyptic. The underground areas can contain jungles, caves, and entire hidden ecosystems. Some of the underground ecosystems in this biome can contain dinosaurs. Enemies here are significantly stronger, and the zone is clearly designed to be the late game zone at this point in Hytale. There's also the ocean zone, which I know technically is not a zone. This obviously is an aquatic themed zone with lots of aquatic themed creatures and items. Some of the creatures include the humpback whale, sharks, and salmon. You can find seashells, coral, seaweed, and other aquatic themed items in the deep ocean zone. I love the huge variety of sea creatures in the game. I feel like most games don't utilize their water zones enough, and Hytale clearly understands that this can be a really cool part of the world. Now, there are 2 additional zones that are rumored to be coming in Hytale. Zone 5 is rumored to be called the Skylands. There is little known about it, except it will most likely be affiliated with the lightning element. From what is known, it sounds like it will be sky-based and will feature floating islands in the clouds. Zone 6 is referred to as the Poison Lands. There is almost nothing known about this zone, but it will most likely be associated with the void element. So what's actually in the game right now? Since Hytale is in early access, that means there are no fully implemented story dungeons yet, no big scripted campaigns or anything like that, and some systems clearly need work, and you can see placeholders in work in progress things all over the world. What the game does have right now is exploration, combat, crafting, a creative mode, and some really powerful building and modding tools. I think the combat in Hytale is really enjoyable and a big step forward in the genre. Right now, combat in early access feels fluid and responsive. You move, strike, and react in ways that feel natural, not stiff or laggy like you see in some other sandbox games. Even though the game isn't in full release, fighting feels fun and engaging most of the time. I really like how the different weapon types in Hytale genuinely feel different. There are quite a few different weapon types like daggers, swords, crossbows, and some magic staves. You don't feel like you're just spam clicking with combat in Hytale. Choosing a weapon really changes how fights play out. That's a cool feeling that a lot of games never nail, especially in early access. I really love the signature energy mechanic. Every time you land a hit with a weapon, you slowly build up this signature energy bar. Once it's filled, you can press Q to unleash a special attack tied to this weapon. Using the special attack consumes all of your signature energy, and if you switch weapons before using it, you lose it entirely. So you actually have to decide when to use that power burst rather than just spam attacking. It's not a really complicated system, but it keeps combat from feeling repetitive. And of course, there's also a stamina system behind the combat. Sprinting and charging attacks use stamina. So you can't just sprint around and use your most powerful attacks forever. The stamina regenerates relatively fast, but you do have to be aware of it, especially in tougher fights. A lot of the nuance here isn't flashy. It's not like every fight is cinematic, but it feels good because it's readable and active, not clunky or unresponsive. This is still early access, so not everything is perfectly tuned yet. I've seen some people note that the combat sometimes feels a bit too easy or basic, especially in PvE, in that some enemies' reactions can feel a bit wonky at times, but that's exactly why early access exists, so the devs can tune and refine this stuff. Even so, for a game that could have easily settled for super basic sandbox combat, Hytale Systems feels intentionally designed and not slapped together. I really want to give the game a special shout out for having magic combat. There isn't a ton of magic combat in the game currently, but I feel like the sky's the roof with this feature, and I'm really excited to see what the developers will add. So now let's talk about crafting, because this is a core part of how Hytale works, but it's a little different from other sandbox games you might be used to. Unlike Minecraft, where you have to slot items into a little grid, Hytale's crafting isn't about arranging shapes. It's more like games like Terraria or Valheim, where you have to have the right materials in the right station, and then you can craft the item that you want from the specific station. The game has pocket crafting for all of the basic tools that you need to start in the player's inventory. But as you progress, you start to need to have specific crafting stations to craft specific things. Some of these crafting stations include an armorer's bench, a blacksmith's anvil, a chef's stove, and so many more. These crafting stations can also be upgraded to unlock additional recipes in them. And the crafting benches can pull items from your chests, so you don't need to have all the ingredients in your inventory, which is absolutely huge and a must-have for games in 2026. I absolutely love that there is a magic system in this game, and even though it's really bare bones in this current state of the game, I have a feeling they are going to be really expanding on it a lot. There are magical items like totems and some magical combat gear that you can craft, currently a fire and an ice staff. I think the vanilla version of this game supporting magic is going to really set it apart from Minecraft. Competition is healthy, and I think Hytale being so successful will really push Minecraft forward, since a lot of people think the developers have become a bit complacent with the game. Minecraft and Hytale can both succeed and coexist together in their own way. They will each be their own unique game, and I think players will enjoy playing both. There is so much that can be added to this game. It has great bones and a clear vision, and I'm so excited to see what the developers add. Like, they have so much cool stuff planned. Like, there's even lore around like the gods of the world and like the good and evil ones. It's crazy. And look at this crazy boss that they're planning on adding. Like, how cool would a giant kraken boss be in the ocean? And look at this cool dragon. Like, it all looks so good. Unfortunately, all this cool stuff isn't in the game yet, and we're gonna have to wait for it. But I really trust these developers, and I have a feeling they will be delivering on all of these promises. So if you're buying this expecting a complete RPG story right now, you will be disappointed. That being said, there is a lot here, and I think it is worth the money and time. The standard edition of Hytale is $20 USD, and that gets you full access to the entire game, the exploration and creative modes, multiplayer, modding tools, and of course, all future updates that they add to the game. There are more expensive editions, but they only come with additional cosmetics. There's no gameplay advantages and no additional content that's hidden behind these more expensive versions. I would say for 20 bucks, it's a pretty good deal, especially if you're into building, modding, and following games as they grow. So here's my honest answer. Should you buy and play Hytale? Hytale right now feels unfinished but intentional. The world already has identity, the atmosphere works, and exploration feels pretty meaningful. I think what Hytale is really missing is time, not direction. The developers have said that they only got access to the game back from Riot about 2 months ago, right before the release, so they did not have a lot of time to add additional content. They had to take a 4-year-old beta build that they had and get it ready for a release. The developers are clearly motivated and have already launched the first major update less than a week after the game was released into early access. And at the time of recording, they have already teased Update 2 and said that that will be coming soon. If the developers keep dropping consistent updates and listen to community feedback, the sky really is the limit for Hytale. I think, in time, this game is going to become incredible, and I'm excited to be here for the ride. If you want a complete story right now, I would probably wait. If you want to explore a world that feels like it has a past, build some cool stuff, and watch a game grow into itself, I think this game is for you. And I'm certainly not the only one who thinks so. The game hit 2.8 million concurrent players, which is absolutely insane for an indie title like this. And it's likely that that number is only growing. This $20 game from a small indie team is more successful than pretty much every single AAA game that has released in the past couple of years. And this is just the beginning of Hytale's story. So yeah, grab a couple friends, and I would recommend that you go check out Hytale. It's definitely worth your time, even in its current state. Give the developers some time and trust that they will be delivering on all the promises. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one.